Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping into the world's top unsolved mysteries. From cities that decided to play hide and seek under the ocean, to jars that aren't for cookies, and lines in the desert that weren't just someone doodling with giant etch-a-sketches. Okay, let's get right into it. Starting off with number 1, the sunken city of Thonis-Heracleion. You heard that right. A whole city that was playing hide and seek under the sea until marine archaeologists stumbled upon it in the early 2000s. Imagine losing your car keys and finding them in the fridge, kind of bizarre, but obviously on a much grander scale. This was no small town. Thonis-Heracleion was Egypt's version of a bustling port city, a kind of ancient New York City, if you will, minus the skyscrapers and the yellow cabs, of course. Now, you might be thinking, how does a city just vanish like that? And yeah, that's the million-dollar question no one seems to have the answer to. Thonis-Heracleion was not only a major trading hub, but also steeped in myths and legends. It was where the god Amun and Hercules supposedly took their coffee breaks. I might be paraphrasing a bit here. Its discovery flipped the script on what we knew about ancient Egyptian civilization, with artifacts pulled from the deep, like boats, gold coins, and monumental statues that have seen better days. It's like a snapshot in time, preserved underwater for us to gawk at. Alright, so after diving into the submerged secrets of Thonis-Heracleion, let's shift gears and head over to Laos, where we stumble upon, well, what looks like an ancient tea party that got way out of hand. With number 2, we're talking about the Plain of Jars, folks. Imagine this. You're trekking through the hills of northern Laos, perhaps looking for a nice picnic spot, and bam, you find yourself standing among thousands of giant stone jars scattered across the landscape. These aren't just any jars. We're talking about huge stone containers, some weighing over several tons and old as dirt, dating all the way back to the Iron Age. Now, why on earth someone would go to the trouble of carving out and assembling these massive jars is a question that's puzzled researchers for quite some time. There's this theory floating around that they were used as funeral urns, which kind of makes sense. I mean, if you're going to go through all that effort, it's not just to keep your massive quantities of Rice Krispies dry, right? But then, you've got to consider the local legends that suggest these jars were brewed by a race of giants to store their beer. Which, let's be honest, sounds like a party you'd hate to miss. Anyway, research has been a tad slow, thanks to the area being littered with unexploded bombs left over from the Vietnam War. Yeah, because stumbling upon a 1,000-year-old archaeological enigma wasn't exciting enough. You've got to dodge live explosives while you're at it. All right, so next up on our whistle-stop tour of history's head-scratchers, we plunge into the warm waters of Brazil's Guanabara Bay. Now let me tell you, this is where things get a bit, spicy. So, imagine you're diving in the bay, expecting to find the usual, maybe some fish, a couple of old tires, and then bam, you stumble upon a bunch of Roman amphoras. Yes, you heard that right, Roman. Amphoras are big ancient jars that Romans used like for everything, from storing spices to transporting olives. Well, this discovery had some confused researchers asking, did the Romans beat Christopher Columbus to the Americas? Now, before you start thinking of Julius Caesar in a Hawaiian shirt discovering Brazil, let me add a dash of skepticism. This discovery made by Robert Marks in the 1980s isn't your open and shut case. Some experts are waving the flag of caution, arguing that the evidence doesn't exactly add up, leading to a tug-of-war between visions of ancient international voyages and accusations of modern-day tomfoolery. So, was Guanabara Bay a pit stop for ancient Roman tourists? Or is this just another fish tale? The jury's still out. All right, buckle up, because now we're traveling straight into the heart of Peru to talk about number 4, the Nazca Lines. Picture this. Enormous figures of animals, plants, and geometric shapes so big you can only see them from space. I mean, who made these? And more importantly, how? Aliens, maybe. But the theories are wild, ranging from astronomical guides to massive dance floors for ancient rituals. And let me tell you, despite all the research, we're still not really sure how these were made. These lines and figures were actually etched into the desert floor over 1,000 years ago by the Nazca people, with nothing but presumably simple tools. And here's the kicker. They've survived centuries of wind and rain. Well, not much rain. It's a desert. Congrats, Nazca people. You've officially blown our collective minds. Hang on to your butts, because at number 5, we're looking at the mystery of the Paracas Candelabra. This isn't your grandma's candle holder we're talking about. Picture this: a giant, 3-pronged geoglyph etched into the side of a hill overlooking the beautiful bay of Pisco in Peru. And when I say giant, I literally mean over 600 feet across. That's like laying down 2 football fields end to end for just a bit of perspective. Now, the big question that's been bugging everyone is, what the frick is it, fool? So here's where it gets really juicy. Theories abound, from it being a navigational aid for sailors, kind of like an ancient lighthouse without the light, to suggestions of it being a symbol related to indigenous religion or even extraterrestrial markers. Yes, you heard that right. Aliens. Imagine being an ancient sailor navigating by this massive geoglyph, or maybe it's there to just remind us how little we know about our ancient ancestors. So, what do you think? A guide for those ancient mariners? Or a shout out to the cosmos? Either way, the Paracas Candelabra remains one of those head-scratchers that keep historians and conspiracy theorists alike awake at night. Next up with number 6, the Inca Fortress, Sacsayhuamán. Yeah, try saying that 5 times fast. This isn't just your ordinary fortress. We're talking about a marvel of ancient architecture that's left modern scientists scratching their noggins in wonder. Imagine massive stone blocks, some weighing as much as an elephant. Or, actually, maybe make that several elephants, all of them perfectly fitted together without a drop of mortar in sight. No, they didn't have super glue back then, but boy, did they have some serious skills. Now, if that doesn't make you go double UTF, I don't know what will. It's like the ancient Incas were playing the most epic level of Tetris and won. And amidst all this structural wizardry, let's not forget the sheer effort it took to get those stones up there without modern machinery. No cranes, no bulldozers, just raw manpower and llama power, probably. All right, on to number 7. Let's dive into a mystery that's been bugging historians and archaeologists alike for like a hella long time. I'm talking about the legendary, the one and only, Cleopatra's Tomb. So picture this: the last queen of Egypt, a ruler known for her intelligence, political acumen, and, let's just say, complicated love life. Despite all the fame, her final resting place remains one of history's enduring puzzles. I mean, seriously, how do you lose a tomb that was probably the equivalent of a pharaonic supermansion? We have no idea where it is. So, here's the deal. Some folks think Cleopatra and her Roman boyfriend, Mark Antony, were buried together. Romantic, right? But despite all the tech we've got today, their tomb is playing the ultimate game of hide-and-seek with us. There's been whispers and rumors. It could be in Alexandria, where they lived, or maybe near the Temple of Isis, because Cleopatra was kinda into branding herself as the incarnation of the goddess. But every time archaeologists think they're onto something, it's like the earth just gobbles up the leads. And trust me, they've been looking. There have been digs that turned up ancient artifacts, royal bling, you name it. But as for the burial site, nada. Zilch. It's like it vanished into thin air. Stay tuned, because for number 8, we have one cold case that's still very much open. If there's one thing that screams mystery with every page, it's number 8. The famous Voic Manuscript, a book that's hundreds of years old, filled to the brim with writings in a language that nobody, and I mean nobody, has been able to decipher. And trust me, it's not for lack of trying. The best cryptologists, linguists, and even modern computer algorithms have taken a crack at it, only to walk away scratching their heads. Was the author of this book just messing with us? But it's not just the text that'll send you down a rabbit hole. The illustrations? Oh, they're a trip too. Plants that don't match any known species, strange astrological symbols, and let's not forget the slightly bizarre ladies in their birthday suits. It's like a medieval acid trip in book form. Some have speculated it's a medical text. Others think it's secrets of alchemy, or even, and stick with me here, an intergalactic travel guide created by aliens. Whatever it is, the Voic Manuscript is the ultimate teaser. Alrighty, let's dive deep, and I mean literally deep, into mystery number 9 that's submerged underwater off the coast of Japan's Yonaguni Island. Picture this: massive stone structures, kind of like an underwater version of the Great Pyramids, but fish are swimming around. Yeah, that's the Yonaguni Monument for you. Discovered in 1985 by a diver who was more interested in finding sharks but ended up finding, well, not sharks. Now, this place, it's kind of like nature's own version of a Jenga game. But here's where it gets so spicy that you're going to need a glass of cold milk. Some folks are convinced that what we're looking at isn't just a bunch of rocks that decided to throw a party and stack themselves all neat and pretty. No, sir. They believed that way back, before it was cool to be underwater. This was part of a massive city. I mean, who doesn't love the idea of an ancient Atlantis-esque story, right? All right, folks, let's wrap up with number 10, shall we? Massive stones arranged in a circle, alone in the middle of the English countryside. Yep, you guessed it. We're talking about Stonehenge. Now, this ancient circle has been baffling humans for, well, ages. And despite all our modern tech and historical sleuthing, we still don't really know how or why they were put there. What was it for? A colossal calendar? A sacred site for, ancient rites? A prehistoric concert venue? Who knows? Now, the thing with Stonehenge is that it's old, like really old. Some of these stones were put in place over 4,000 years ago and weigh as much 30 tons. Our ancestors managed to not only transport these massive stones from miles away, but also arrange them with astronomical precision. Mind-boggling, right? And every year, people flock to this site, especially during the solstices, to catch a glimpse of what might be the world's most famous prehistoric monument. Makes you wonder, what drove them to go through all this effort? Guess it's just another day at the office for those ancient architects. Well, folks, we've taken a whirlwind tour through some of the most perplexing mysteries our world has to offer. From the depths of sunken cities to the cryptic lines carved into desert floors, it's been quite the adventure. Each of these enigmas, from Thonis-Heracleion to the eerie allure of the Nazca Lines, challenges our understanding of history, humanity, and the limits of our knowledge. And let's not forget the Voic Manuscript. I mean, if that doesn't scream mystery movie plot waiting to happen, I don't know what does. What's the takeaway from all this? Well, besides the fact that our ancestors were incredibly skilled at confusing us, it's a humbling reminder of just how much we have yet to learn. The mysteries we've explored today are but a fraction of the countless secrets the past holds, waiting to be uncovered. Maybe one of you watching will be the one to crack the code of the Voic Manuscript or pinpoint the final resting place of Cleopatra. Or, maybe you'll just enjoy pondering these puzzles from the comfort of your couch. Either way, it's clear that the curiosity these mysteries spark isn't going anywhere. So, keep questioning, keep exploring, and who knows? Maybe together, we'll unravel more of the world's enduring enigmas. And hey, at the very least, we've got some great material for dinner party conversations, right?